back, fellow artists, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Mad Tzen and I'm a digital illustrator. I create Procreate tutorials for beginners. In today's Procreate tutorial, I'm going to show you how to draw realistic hair in Procreate. So first we need to go to the brush library, go to the airbrushing category, and choose the soft airbrush. Next, go to color palettes and double click down here to choose pure black. Now I'm going to draw on the silhouette and shape of our hair, and I'll make it wavy like so. Make sure you close the shape so that you can drag and drop black onto our hair. Then we'll just use our Apple pen to paint black over the white parts that were left behind. Next, go back to color palettes and we're going to choose gray. And if you want to, you can change the shade of your gray later on. Now you want to choose sections of the black hair to fill it in with the gray. You don't have to be perfect during this part, as we'll be fixing this up later. And then just go ahead and do some more gray sections. If you don't like the gray that you've chosen, you can go back to color palettes and choose a lighter or darker gray. Then just go ahead and drag and drop that color. The next thing we're going to do is use the smudge tool. We're going to use this tool to blend the black hair and the outer edge of the gray together to make the colors look like they're blending into each other. You want to eliminate any of the hard edges since we're going for a realistic hair drawing. Once you've got a smoother look, we can go back to use our soft airbrush, and then we're going to take the transparency down so we can add a little bit of gray on some parts of the black areas. Once you're happy with the look of the base of your hair, go to color palettes and choose a darker gray. Then it's time to go back to the brush library and go to the inking category and choose the fine tip brush. We're going to be using the fine tip brush to draw on the fine, thin, detailed lines of actual hair. This step is quite easy. What you want to be doing is drawing straight, continuous lines on the gray part. Make sure you don't draw any broken lines, otherwise the hair will look unnatural. You want to be drawing the hair in close proximity, but still having the light gray underneath visible. So I'm just going to continue drawing the hair onto the gray parts before we continue. Once you're happy with what you've got, go back to color palettes and choose pure white by double tapping on the white up here. I'm also going to bring the opacity down because I don't want the white to be too sharp. Otherwise the hair will look unnatural. And what I'm going to do with the white is go over the gray that we've just done. I'm also going to put some white strands on some parts of the black hair. And we're doing this because we want to make it look like the hair strands on the gray parts are connecting to each other, making it look like the hair is flowing naturally from the top of the head to the hair below. Next, I'll go back to color palettes and choose black again, and this time we're going to use the black to separate the hair into different sections, which is what you'll see with realistic hair. Once I've done that, I'm going to go back to the smudge tool to soften up any harsh edges. If you'd like to know how to blend colors correctly, you can check out one of my tutorials, which I'll leave the link up above and also in the description below. Then I'm going to go back in and divide the hair into more sections. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the color wheel and I'm going to choose white again and also use the fine tip brush to place the white in areas where I think needs highlight. Then I'm going to go back to the smudge tool and use it again to blend everything in. In this example, since I know that we don't have enough strands on the black areas of my hair, I'm going to go back to the color wheel and choose gray to add more strands on the black parts. And in we go again with the smudge tool. Now for this next part, I'm going to go for the main highlight So I'm gonna go back to the color wheel and choose white again. So you'll see at the beginning, I'll be drawing the white highlight on like blocks. I'll just be using this as a guide to give me an idea of where I'd like my highlights to be. Later on, we're gonna be cutting down on the highlights to make it look realistic. Then I'll go back to color palettes and choose gray and go over the main white highlights. You can adjust if you need to and go back and forth between the colors, the brush, and the smudge tool. In drawing hair, you'll realize that you'll need to go back and forth between your brush and the smudge tool to make sure that you have the right balance of colors and also to eliminate any of those harsh edges. Once you've done that, go back to color palettes and choose pure black. And what we're going to do with the black is we're going to cut into the highlight and break it up into sections to make it look more realistic. We don't want to have chunks of white blocks all over the hair to make it look like it's naturally flowing and that the hair is divided into sections. So as you can see in this example, I'm using the black to cut into the white and also break up those blocks. Then we're going to go back to the smudge tool to make everything look smoother. You can still add more colors and strands of hair where you think it's necessary. Just make sure that you use the smudge tool to eliminate any of those harsh edges and harsh lines. You can also see that I'm drawing on more gray to cover up some of the white since I think that we have too much highlight. And the gray strands look as though it's blending nicely with the rest of the hair. Our hair is looking pretty good. I'm just going to continue the same process until I get the result that I want. Using the soft airbrush, I'm also just going to add a little bit more highlight on the side of the head with the color white. Now you know how to draw hair in Procreate. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next Procreate tutorial.